Hello everybody, back again, but this time I'm outside. Not quite so windy, but there's still a good deal of wind around, so I'll have to try and speak a bit louder because I find on YouTube that I can be quite quiet. So I'm going to try and speak a bit louder, but no doubt I'll forget halfway through. Anyway, the last few weeks I've been looking at the saints for the week, and I've picked out one each week and spoken on that. Well, this coming week, a bit more difficult because we've got St. Bede on Monday. On Wednesday, we've got St. Augustine of Canterbury. We've got St. Philip Neri in between the two, or Neri, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. We've also got Pope St. Paul VI later on in the week. So that's four, and some of them, all of those are to a certain extent important. But I thought particularly English ones, Bede, Augustine of Canterbury, but also Philip Neri. He has a connection to England. So I thought I'd say something about the three of them, just briefly. Bede, of course, well, we all know Bede, being born here in Sunderland and spending his life in Jarrow. We all know him. But the one thing that I do like about Bede, one of his quotations, I can't quote it verbatim, but he's so liked, he said to himself, my delight has been in learning. He was inquisitive mind. He looked at all sorts of things, the moon and the stars and the tides, all sorts of things, as well as the scriptures, of course. He delighted in learning, in teaching, passing on that knowledge, and then in writing. And of course that passed it on to people into Europe, right away down until the Middle Ages. His books were read very, very widely among people studying for the priesthood or people who were monasteries and so on. What the thing about that I like particularly about him is that he had that opportunity. He was provided with books. He was relatively peaceful. He was relatively comfortable, in a monastery. Fairly Spartan, but everybody lived pretty Spartanly in those days. And so he had the opportunity. God gave him the opportunity to do all that. And so he was very privileged. Contrast that with Augustine. Augustine was a monk in, no doubt, equally happy in his monastery in Italy, suddenly plucked out of there by Pope Gregory the Great, gathered round him, or he was provided with a number of monks, and there were probably about 30 or 40 of them, and he was to go as a group. They were to come to England, a place they'd never heard of really. They were to come and establish the faith here. Well, you can imagine, he was absolutely fearful about this. He didn't know the language, didn't know the people up here, didn't know anything. And off they went. But they soon got cold feet. And so he wasn't really supported by the others. They all wanted to go home. And so they sent to Gregory and said, well, can we come home? And the answer was certainly no, you can't come home. But on the other hand, he did support them. He tipped off various monasteries in France where they were going to pass through, and there they were given support. Actually, Augustine was made a bishop while he was in France, and when they got here, fortunately they were well received, and they managed to establish themselves. And he did. He in a few years, he established 3 centres. He established a centre in Canterbury, he established a centre in Rochester, and in London. And so there he was. He somebody completely unknown, very fearful, but at least he was allowed that success and support from the Pope. So that's true. What about St. Philip Neri? What's he got to do with England? Well, he had the title of being the Apostle of Rome about the time of the Reformation. He was a great preacher, a great confessor, and so people went to him for advice, including the Pope, including lots of bishops and so on. They all came to him for advice. And he established a religious order which is now called the Oratorians, and it still exists. Of course, our present bishop here was from the oratory in Birmingham, the same oratory where John Henry Newman, Cardinal John Henry Newman, recently canonized. He was from the Birmingham oratory as well. But that's not the connection with England, no. When he founded the oratory, he was given a church, which he renovated and rebuilt really, which is called the Chiesa Nuovo, and it's on the main road from the city centre up to the Vatican. A very busy road, a busy bus route. The number 64. If you go to the Vatican, you'll almost certainly go on the 64. You get your pickpockets galore on that bus. Anyway, the thing about it, in the Chiesa Nuovo, it's on that route, and it's not very far from the English College. And he was appointed to be the spiritual director at the English College. Now remember, it was a Reformation time, and so not only was he preparing the students or helping to prepare the students to be priests, but he was helping them to prepare them to be martyrs. They were coming back here with the enormous chance that they would be martyred. What a huge responsibility. But that's his link with England. So I would just like to think, how would I connect them together besides this Englishness? Well, I think I've been on before about enablers. I have a very great admiration for enablers, people like Benedict Biscuit providing the things that be needed. They were all, to a certain extent, enablers. Bede enabled students at his time and for the future through his writings. He enabled them in their learning. Augustine enabled the foundation, refoundation really, because the church had been here, Christianity had been here in Roman times, but had been lost. But he re-established the church in this country and set about a system enabling others, because he didn't do it all himself. And then Philip Neri, of course, enabling people to be martyred, enable them to be able to have that strength of character, have that faith, and of course his great power as a spiritual leader, a spiritual guide. And so that's the thing that I would connect them with. And my prayer today would be, I've been talking also about the need that we have for enablers after this pandemic to put us back on our feet again. So my prayer today would be this: God our Father, guide us to select as leaders those you have endowed with the gift of being able to enable us all to support the spread and development of your kingdom through Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns, your Son, Jesus Christ, who lives and reigns with you and the Holy Spirit, God, forever and ever. Amen. God bless you all, and thank you.